Welcome to our brunch series with Viva La Vida. Today we're going to be doing polenta and shrimp. This is such a great dish. Some people know polenta, some people might think of grits. Polenta is very similar to grits. It's a different finer grain, but it also has Parmesan cheese in it, and there's a different way of making it. So we're going to call it polenta and grits.
And what's great about this is, first of all, it's corn, and so it's gluten-free, right?
Yep.
So, these are great ways for you to be able to have an option for brunch. And, it's kind of like gut putty food. It just tastes good, right?
Tastes
and
good.
I think, of course, not only Viva La Vida, but El Mason, we always put our own twist to a very traditional dish. So, Mark, let's get started. I know you've got things going on there, and let's make this quick and easy for everyone to make at home.
Okay,
let's go.
Here I have, and it's starting to boil right now, and you want to bring this to a boil. I have 2 cups of chicken broth and 2 cups of milk. And you want to bring that to a boil. Let me just turn it up here just a little bit more here. And then I have 1 cup of the polenta. Now, you think, boy, that's an awful lot. Well, the polenta does absorb an awful lot of liquid. So I'm just going to turn it clear up to high. And
so repeat again what you have in the pot, Mark.
I have the chicken broth, and I have milk. 2 cups of chicken broth and 2 cups of milk. So we just want to pour a little bit in there at a time and then stir it. If you pour all of it in at the same time, it's going to lump on you, and then you're going to have lumpy grits, and we don't want lumpy grits.
And it's known, right? The quality of making such a simple dish is the technique, and as you mentioned, it's about pouring it in and stirring it in a constant level so that it does not stick or become one mass, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So we'll just continue here as that comes up to a boil again. Just keep stirring that in. Now, into that, I'm also going to be putting, and as soon as I get all of it in there, I'll add a little bit of salt to it. I don't really want to add a lot of salt to it because we're going to be at the end adding Parmesan cheese to it. And the Parmesan cheese is, a little bit on the salty side too. So you could end up being too salty if you add too much salt. So
about how much of it do you have in right now?
I just finished putting all of it in there now, and I'm just going to put a pinch of salt in there. Now you can see it's boiling real hard right now. So since it is boiling real hard, I'm going to turn it down to low and just let it continue to simmer, but I will continue to stir it also. So while that's going, I'm going to start doing the shrimp.
So we've got it now on low, right? And we just continue to simmer.
Yes. So in this pan here, I'm going to add a half a stick of butter. And we're just going to stir that until that gets melted. And to that, I've also, and I've just showed you what I have over here that's going to be going into making this shrimp for the shrimp and polenta. I've got 2 cups here, and I've mixed it. I've got red peppers, yellow peppers, green peppers. I've got onions, garlic. All of that is all mixed together here. And as soon as that butter gets melted and it's all hot, I'm going to add that to it and just saute those for just a short period of time. Now, let me go back over here and stir my polenta. We don't want that to lump up on us. And right now you can see how nice it's starting to look. Yes, it's starting to get thick here. And once it does get thick and ready, I will be adding the Parmesan cheese to it and the butter to it also. So I've got about a 1/4 stick of butter that I'm going to add to that also. So yeah, it's that's good now. It's on low, so it's not going to continue to cook real hard. So I've got this one now turned up to high, and I'm ready to go ahead and add the mixture of the onions, peppers, and garlic. So there we go, getting that in there. Now, what am I going to season that with? you know, and we can put the seasoning in it now before we add the shrimp. So I've got some black pepper. I'm also going to do a little bit of red pepper flakes. So it's going to give it a little bit of heat to it also. You might want to take that off there and just kind of be careful how much you put in there because it can make it very, very spicy. And then I'm going to go back over here and get some of the salt and add some of the salt to it also.
So again, people can pretty much adjust to what? If they want to skip the aspect of the red peppers,
yeah,
then right, but really
it adds a lot of great flavor to it though.
But the polenta really doesn't have a lot of flavor on its own, so that's why we're trying to help that, right?
Yep, yep. So you know, it's the contrast of the spicy with the shrimp and the texture of the polenta. So here we go. This is starting to saute real good here. So at this point, I have the shrimp here. This is a pound of shrimp I have here. This is good. You could probably even add a little bit more shrimp. Now the seasoning that I used on that is the Old Bay seasoning, and that's always great. You know, you use the Old Bay in like crab cakes, but it's also good just for cooking the shrimp. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix that seasoning into the shrimp here. Okay, so also on the side here I've got some lemons, and this is one lemon, and I'm just juicing that lemon, and we'll have that ready to go into that final product also.
So you're going to juice one whole lemon?
Juice one whole lemon. And then I've also got some parsley here that I've chopped up. Might need a little bit more chopping here on that parsley. Want it real fine. So that's about ready here, and so are those. Let me give this just one more stir.
And not to give away the next segment, but we're going to be doing something with that bay seasoning as well in crab cakes, aren't we, Mark?
Yeah, we're going to do a Krabby Benedict.
Oh,
so
wow.
Crab cakes and an eggs Benedict.
Awesome.
So in here now, I'm going to go ahead and add that butter because this is done. So while I'm finishing the shrimp, that butter will melt, and I'm going to go ahead and add the Parmesan cheese. Quite a bit of Parmesan cheese. That's about 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. So it's going to be real cheesy and I think delicious.
And this is where it changes a little bit from the grits to the polenta or vice versa. And there are so many ways to even prepare both. Just because polenta is an Italian delicacy and a favorite, grits is just as much, so I'm sure every kitchen makes it just a little bit different.
Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and add that shrimp to it. Stir that into those peppers and onions. And it's only going to take a few minutes for this because this is a shrimp. I always give it as a rule. Shrimp, you want to, when you think that it's almost done, it is done. Okay, so just always remember that rule of thumb. When you look at it and you say, "Ooh, I don't think it's quite done," turn it off. It's done, because it will continue to cook. And the one thing you don't want is you don't want rubbery, tough shrimp. These are going to be really, really nice and soft. So I'm going to start getting this all ready to go for you. While that finishes off, I'm going to go ahead and make up a plate for...
Mark, before you plate that, can you just maybe show us the pan here with the...
Well, I've got to get something here. That pan is hot.
There we go.
Okay, right
just
there
so
it
our
is.
Viewers can... There we go.
Yeah,
that's the consistency.
And I am going to stir it up a little bit here because there's still a little bit of that butter that's floating around there on the top. So the way to do this is just put a little bit of grits right in the middle of your plate.
And if some of you don't know this, but I think it was back maybe 5 years ago, we won the Battle of the Bars Best Pairing with this dish of shrimp polenta and our very favorite cocktail, the Tammy Amy Mommy, that was inspired here in South Florida, as a matter of fact. So, this year we've not been able to travel, but we decided we wanted to come and sharpen our skills We've got a new menu coming in Del Mason. We've got some brunch options that we're looking at to have as well. And who knows, we might be doing some Sunday brunches in the very near future.
So this shrimp here, I just turned the heat off because it's just, even in my opinion, almost done. It still needs just a hair more. So to that, I'm now going to add that lemon juice, and I'm going to put most of the parsley right into there, but I'm going to save a little bit just to put on top of
as
our
a garnish
finished dish. Right.
So just as delicate as you put in with the polenta, you're making it so that the shrimp is just as delicate and as tasty as well, right?
Yep.
And this is just going to be topping it.
It's going to be topping it
So
here.
we're not cooking the shrimp into it.
No.
Right. That looks wonderful.
And this is just kind of like a side dish. You know, you might want to do it on a big dish if you want to serve it any other way. But I think it's great like this. It just gives you a little bit. We'll take some of that parsley and just sprinkle right on top of it here. And the best part of it is the eating of it. Here we go.
That looks
Here we
delicious.
You don't even have to have the shrimp in biting into that, because the flavors that the shrimp was cooked in is there. So I've got one here with a little bit of shrimp in it.
I'd like to have one of those myself right here, because I know that looks just as yummy as you put into it. Mark, another great series. As you know, the best way to be able to know that Viva La Vida did their job is going to be what?
Good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and Viva La Vida again in our brunch segment. We just made a wonderful shrimp polenta that will go wonderfully to your brunch. But you know, I can see that with a good cocktail and kind of having it as a lunch dinner option as well.
It can go with anything.
All right. We'll sign off for now, and Viva La Vida, the recipe of life.